Alrighty, FootyCast live from BackChat Studios. Skeeter's straight off the pavement. He's just done his run and he's come in here early. He's a bloody good man and it's great to see you, Skeeter. How are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Well, I'm just moving house and just box after box about to transfer from one suburb to the next. And thanks to Dean Bradley and the team at Ray White. He's letting
Dino
us,
saw you out.
Just letting us get in a little bit early. So Dino's a good man. He's helping us out this morning. Might get him on the tools because I'm certainly not good at those. And you looked, I don't know, something about you looks a bit different this morning.
What?
Dressed to succeed or to do something more than just sit here and wax lyrical with me.
What do you think?
I think you've got a cashy coming up.
Why can't I just get out of bed and look nice?
No, I just don't think there's always a motive for you. There's always something behind your dress sense. Like we saw on the news the other night, you know, sitting at the footy dressed like a gangster. You didn't give a rat's that night, but today you do. And that's the difference.
Okay, Skeet's come out firing. Awesome. Did you go for a run this morning?
Yeah, part run, part walk. I'm not at the stage where I'm running the whole way, but I'm 6 o'clock out there with all the, nuffies. And me being one of them.
You'll be going, you sort of be like
I'll be like Rain Man.
You'll be like Lake Munga circuit soon.
Oh,
I'll be like Rain Man.
Well,
how will you be like Rain Man?
Because he just kept Forrest
Gump. Highly intelligent.
No. Highly intelligent. I know he was highly intelligent. Maybe more Forrest Gump. Just keep doing laps of
Forrest Gump would be.
I might need blinkers and pacifiers given the sights and sounds of Lake Munga in summer. You know what blinkers and pacifiers do? They stop you looking out the side.
Oh, all right, it's going to be a bit of a shorter show today.
Why is that?
Because I've got a cashy to go to. Shout out footycast.com.au. You want to get Skeeter fitted for his pacifier and his blinkers. Oh, that's very good. Shout out FootyCast on socials. Of course, we are in... I got to be honest, I always get confused with what
September?
week this is. Is this semi-final week?
It is semi-final week, yeah.
No,
next week's
elimination.
Yeah, it's not too complicated.
Qualifying.
Yeah, so it's this week is semi-final, next week prelim, and the next week after that, William, you know what's coming.
Thanks, Rain Man. Yeah, perfect. All right, so semi-final week. It's always an interesting week, this one, given that two teams who finished above the others on the ladder lose. And the other two have great wins. It happens every single year that, those sides, they've won an elimination final, it was do or die final. They come in never quite as favourites, but I feel like you want to pick them every year because they're coming off a win and the other sides are coming off the loss. But in the end, Brisbane and Adelaide, they're the better sides. They finished higher on the ladder, but Hawthorn and Gold Coast in this one feel like genuine chances.
I think the history
sides.
since the pre-finals bye has shown that the top four advantage has been neutralised to some degree. I mean, year one, obviously, with the Bulldogs going through and beating the Eagles and go bang, bang, bang all the way through. I just feel, and the record suggests that we have seen teams go out in straight sets. Melbourne, as an example, the top teams don't have the same advantage, in my opinion, because of that bye week. Now, why that is so, I mean, they're still getting a break, but so too are the clubs down the bottom end of the eight. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a real chance out of the two semi-finals this weekend that one of the top four will be Gonski.
Biggest story out of the week that's gone, Skeeter. Zach Merrett, the captain of Essendon, had dinner with Sam Mitchell and Hawthorn head of footy Rob McCartney. This is the second captain that we know of that's contracted that Sam Mitchell's met with. How have you seen this play out this week, Skeet?
Oh, it's a hammer blow for the Bombers, isn't it, really? Your best player, the player you're going to build the future around. He's contracted for another 2 years, mind you, which just... look, and he has been one of those players that's been extremely loyal, but the contract, we've talked about contracts before, but what is the point of having a contract? If I'm contracted to a radio station or so I want to go and work for another radio station, do you reckon they're letting me walk?
Well, it gives bargaining power to Essendon.
It does, but the bargaining power is true, but the deflating nature of this for the vibe of the club is horrendous. I mean, if he does go out the door, and look, Brad Scott's saying that's not going to happen, Jordan Ridley's not going, it is the biggest story. From a Hawthorn perspective, Sam Mitchell's just doing the best he can for his club, which is terrific. But if I'm another club, I'm going to start having a chat to Josh Weddle. I'm going to start throwing big money at these types of guys that I think are the future of any footy club and start rattling the cage of the Hawks, because it can't just be one-way traffic. I'm coming back hard at the Hawks in some fashion. But yeah, I think, and for Sam Mitchell, that would make, and we discussed this yesterday, that acquisition would make the Hawks from a very good side into a extremely competitive premiership potential team.
Zach Merrett's one of the best players in the competition, so he's going to come at a high price. Brad Scott, just to quote him, he was on last night with AFL 360. I wonder how far in advance that was planned, but this is what he had to say. He's a contracted captain. Our club's position is we will not be trading him under any circumstances. That means any circumstances, Skeeter, no matter what the price. We've adjusted his contract to reflect his performance and we expect him to see it through. He made a commitment. A lot of agents are running with at the moment, just sign long-term contracts and if you want to move, we'll move you. Well, that's not the world I live in. The world I live in is if you make a commitment, then you see it through. We committed to him, he committed to us. I intend to see my commitment through and I expect our captain to do the same. They're fighting words.
I like them. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, footy's become just, when we see an announcement of a 10-year deal, we go, okay, well, what does that mean? He's there for 2 or 3 years and then after that, it's gloves off. The question is, if they do hold him to his contract, the fallout from that is, do you want a bloke at the club that doesn't want to be there? And secondly, he can't be captain. I don't think he can be captain next year if he stays.
Just because he's met with Sam Mitchell?
Yeah, well, do you think Oscar Allen would have been captain if he'd started? I just think there's an undercurrent of what's the commitment level like?
Well, yeah, I think if you looked around the competition and other captains, they wouldn't be taking meetings with opposition coaches. So I think that speaks to the fact that, and the Homewise guarantee of the week, Skeeter, mine, Zach Merrett will be moved. Under any circumstances is a furphy, and Brad Scott is rightly so protecting his footy club, having a strong hard line. We're not moving him. We're not moving Ridley. I saw the any circumstances of Ridley too. Merrett's going. I firmly believe that if you're meeting with the head coach of a rival club, and Essendon and Hawthorn are pretty big rivals too.
Hate each other. Going back to the 80s, it was Dermot Brereton. It was, there was the stuff with Matthew Lloyd, Brad Sewell, MCG. So 2 generations of Hawthorn Essendon fans just dislike each other.
I've seen Sam Mitchell in work up close, and I reckon the sell he would have given to Zach Merrett would have been very good.
And what about, speaking of Sam Mitchell, the rivalry, Sam Mitchell giving it this to the Bombers during the supplement after the sup. So there's some real edginess to this. And again, you're saying he's going. Let me ask you this. What does Essendon ask for in return specifically from Hawthorn?
Everything.
You're asking for Josh Well, you're asking for Mitch Lewis, and you're asking for someone else.
You're gonna lose something clearly
Draft
if you're Hawthorn, but what they desperately need is a gun mid. And Zach Merrett's, I'd have him in the definitely top 10 mids in the competition. And he's a captain and he's a leader.
And the thing is with him, because of the side he is in, he's having to carry a lot of the workload. This year he didn't play primarily in the middle and he was used out in the wing at times. So in a good side, which Hawthorn is, his value would just be extraordinary to them and just would be the finishing touches on the rebuild that I think is almost a template for most clubs.
Homewisesolar.com.au. Go and see Steve at the team. It's getting close to when Steve installs some solar panels on top of Skeeter's house. Maybe we could put them to your back and you could have them strapped to your back, and as you walk around Lake Munga, just put a big solar panel on your back and you could just do laps and you could power your house, because I reckon you could do that. I genuinely reckon the amount of time you're going to be spending out on the trails, you could be a walking solar panel.
It's 3.5k, so I need to find another part of this area, because I only moved to this part of the world because this is where your new studio is.
Are you in your new house yet?
No, we're shifting boxes, but we got the keys today.
Ooh,
so yeah, it's very scary.
So very scary. All right, well there you go. Now clearly I don't know if Zach Merrett's moving or not, and if I can't guarantee that, I probably can guarantee you that you're going to save money if you go and get some solar panels on your house. Go and see Steve and the team. They got solar batteries as well, some government rebates on those, so you can get some money taken off on the back of that. Sam Draper, another Bomber, he's chosen Brisbane. He's out the door. Doesn't Ridley want to go to Brisbane?
Yeah, they want to go to Brisbane.
Okay. Max Gawn overnight won his 3rd best and fairest
He's only his third.
It's probably unders.
Yeah, it's maybe it's Oliver Petrarca type stuff's happened over the journey.
Yes. Will Brodie over here in the West has requested a trade to Port Adelaide and Liam Reedy to Carlton. We took some calls last night that Liam Reedy would be a good fit for West Coast. Well, there is comparisons being drawn between Liam Reedy and Lloyd Meek, and they probably are similar. They're similar players, and they've probably had a similar build underneath, ruckman they can't get a game ahead of.
Yeah, big units. What we have seen is Lloyd develop really well in his around the ground work, and you have famously always said that he had hands like dinner plates.
Yeah,
at
big
times.
dinner plates on Lloyd.
So he couldn't,
just hit packs and just slap them up there.
Yeah,
big symbols.
Liam Reedy, I think, has played 3 games this year. His ruck work, I think, at waffle level is undeniable.
Yep.
And I think he'd be more than competitive at AFL level. I just have a query about outside of the rucking role, how much he needs to improve his work around the ground. If he can do that, then absolutely Carlton have got to find.
Yes, yeah, I agree. What about Campbell Chesser to Carlton? Are they sort of interested there? I know there's been links between him and Ollie Hollands.
Well, they're talking about whether Hollands comes west in exchange, perhaps for Campbell. Elijah Hollands, it is, yeah. Look, Elijah Hollands has got some off-field issues, let's be honest. He hasn't been endearing himself to the Blues over the journey with his behaviour off the park. Campbell Chesser, nothing to do with that. His body's just been cooked for a long time. Yes. But coincidentally, he's found a bit of fitness at the back end of this season, and he's chosen Carlton. And if you're an Eagles supporter, you think that'll be right. He finally gets his body right, first round pick, and he's off to the Blues. Elijah Hollands, I'm not. You're saying back in the system of a club to get him right with his behaviour. Are you not? I'm probably. Well, I need to know further as to when you say off-field issues, and we can all guess as to what that is. But yeah, you want to sit him down first and work out whether he's a player you want to take on, or whether it's just going to be too hard work for the value you get from him.
So you if he came and sat at West Coast and said, I've made these mistakes and I want to get better and I want some help and I want to improve and I want to commit to my footy, and he said all the right things, would you take a chance if you're West Coast?
Well, you do due diligence and you check with people who you know at Carlton and say, look, how many chances did you give him? Well, why? So you find that out. And if he said that 5 times at Carlton, there's some red flags there.
Yeah, it's a very good point because, if you said the same thing, I know, Jamari Ugle-Hagan, just say that he was interested in coming to West Coast. Well, because West Coast have no depth whatsoever. They have a what am I looking for?
Problem is Jamara's
a vacuum of talent on the list.
And Jamara is a talent. So, obviously, the better player you are, the more you're going to sit in the room and have a listen. But and Jamara's one that he won't be the Bulldogs next year, but someone will pick him up if he is in the space where he's training and in not outside nightclubs getting in all sorts of trouble.
Talking about nightclubs and getting in trouble, maybe not nightclubs. Bailey Smith yesterday, this is a bizarre one, Skeeter. So he's verbally abused a photographer. He said, delete them. I said, I'm not deleting them, I'm just doing my job. He said, well, you're doing a fucking shit job. There was pictures and there was video of him strutting around and giving the bird, and at some point I can understand the him sort of not wanting the attention. He's got a lot of attention, and if the photographer is in his bushes out the front of his house taking photos of his living room, that behaviour is completely fair enough, I think. If you're at an open training session, which he was, and you're an AFL footballer in Geelong kit training and getting treatment, what are you doing? It's absolutely bizarre behaviour.
Yeah.
Is that unders calling it bizarre behaviour?
Well, if Geelong's got a no dickhead policy, then they need to tell that to Bailey, because that's just stupid. I mean, here's a bloke that profits out of not just social media, but in terms of what he gets from Cotton On or whatever, uses the platforms that he uses, which is terrific. No issue with that. This is an open training session, and it doesn't matter whether it was a male or female, but this young lady was there, as she has done for 20 years by the sounds of it, a photographer for the Geelong Addy, doing what she does, and quite rightly, she said, no, I'm not deleting them. He took umbrage, I think, to the fact that he might have been getting some treatment, a rub down of sorts on the sidelines near the boundary line, and the photos obviously were him. Now, he might have had to her knowledge, he might have had a hammy which was being looked at, and you know what? That's a great photo if he's ruled out of the side. She's not doing it for any other nefarious purposes. And for him, if he's that worried about being photographed, go in and get your treatment in the rooms, you tool.
Yes. The more I think about this, the first time I saw it, I was like, who cares? But then, as you talk about it, you're 100% right. Imagine if he'd done his quad, and that's the first image of him getting treatment on every news outlet, every person, every fan in the country would want to see. Like,
he must have been worried about like an Andrew Eddinghausen moment or a Paul Hazelby moment. The one that I'm talking, the ones I'm talking about.
You need a big lens for those. Actually, a small lens.
Anyway, Barley Smith, great player. We love him, but geez, he does some silly things. That's just. Yeah, if he hasn't apologised to her or the club doesn't, sure, I'd be surprised because Chris Scott, I think that their club's very good in that area.
He skirts a fine line, doesn't he? He's sort of had a few of these, isn't he? And then everyone sort of wobbles down and he goes, it's just Bailey.
That's just Bailey, and he swears around the club a lot and he's this and that. No, you know what? Bottom line
it's fine to a point. Like, it's you and I, be yourself. But, like, I think we draw a line when you start getting disrespectful.
Abusing people like that. Anyway, it's a small point, but it's one that, because he's a good player, it'll be discussed for a day and then we move on.
Let's move on to the footy right now, Skeeter. Let's get into these two games because cash waits for no one. Adelaide versus Hawthorn at Adelaide Oval. Friday night footy. This is a good one, an absolute ripper. We've got a bit of history here. First time, though, since it's been a first v 8th semi-final since 2006, thanks to Aspect Accountants. The numbers today, of course. And in that game, it was the Eagles who finished first, lost first week, and went on to win the grand final in 2006. So first v 8th, first time since 2006, that one. Adelaide are 12-2 at home this year, Skeeter, losing to Geelong in round 5 and Collingwood last week. The Hawks have only won once of their past 7 trips to Adelaide Oval, of course, including Port Adelaide games. And when these teams met a month ago, 23 of the 28 goals were scored at one end. The vortex down there. Crows kicked 6 goals to 2 in the last to win the game. Hawthorn led at 3/4 time. Skeeter, who wins this?
Yeah.
How's it go?
Hawthorn up by 42. Great character after they headed in the last quarter. It's really, I think it's going to come down in part. We know the midfields play a huge role, but whether the likes of Battle, Barras, maybe Sicily and Scrimshaw can keep Thilthorpe, Walker and Fogarty under control, that'll have a huge say because I think the weather's okay from what I've seen.
Yep.
Last time they met was tight. I expect to bounce back from Adelaide. I thought they were passive. I thought they were nervy. I thought they were not really able to match Collingwood. I think it was a good lesson for them that night. So, I think Hawthorn's got the tools to go all the way, but I just think that Adelaide, I'm going to, as we say, give them that second opportunity to bounce back. And you know what? I'm going to make this my guarantee of the week.
Oh.
Well, we're talking skinny numbers here. We've got 2 games.
So you're guaranteeing the favourite at home who finished first wins?
It's $1.80 playing $2. It's a 50-50 game. So if you don't see that...
Well, no, I don't say that. No.
Well, a 50-50 game means if they're $1.85 each of 2, that means it's 50-50. One's $1.80, one's $2. So it's almost a 50-50. It's about 53.
So you're guaranteeing, I'll say it again, you're guaranteeing.
Well, it's got as much guarantee as Zach Merrett leaving. I reckon I'm going to put my kahunas on the line.
Thanks to Homewise Solar.
Yeah.
Martin Eddings has put his kahunas on the line and he's backed in the minor premier to beat 8th on the ladder at home.
What do you want me to back you to make a comeback in the waffle? I'm just saying, Okay, I'll go for the next game if you want.
No, that's good. I like it. It's just not very, it's like,
I'll give you another one then later on, but that's my first guarantee of the morning.
Double guarantee. I like it. Thanks to Homewise Solar. Very
Who are you
good
tipping?
I'm taking Hawthorn.
Of course you are.
I'm taking Hawks. I think tipping doesn't matter. And I think either Hawthorn or Gold Coast will win. I think one of these sides will go through. So I'm just going to tip them both and I'll at least I'll get one of them. Who knows? You're right. It's a close game. Josh Rochelle is looking like he's going to make a return for the Crows for his first game since round 17. He's been out for 8 weeks. Spoke to Steve Gravina about this on BackChat, who knows how this works. He says that with a layoff, the rule of thumb is if for every week, once it gets over 4 weeks, anything under, like a hamstring, which is a 21-day, you're playing within that. But if you're off legs and off running, every week you're off running, it takes that amount of weeks to build back up to play. So if you're off legs for 6 weeks, which I think Josh Rochelle has been, it's been 8 weeks, but I think he's been running for 2. It should be a 6-week build-in. So 6 weeks off legs, 6 weeks build-in. 8 weeks, whatever. So he's done 6 weeks, and I think this will be the 3rd week. So he's off legs, no running, loading off, and he's only been back for 3 weeks. Steve said it's a huge risk.
So he's not right to go.
Well, you can get through, and the odds though are significantly in re-injury favour. So it's a roll of the dice.
Does that put him in sub territory, or is that they're not right?
Maybe. Yeah, you hope you can get him through with a sub. I think the vacant Isaac Rankin. Josh Rochelle plays a similar role to him in he's a change up in the middle. He's a bit of a fire starter for them. They missed that last week, and they'll be searching for that. The Hawks got a lot to prove though, and a second. Would they be out in the second week for the second year in a row?
Yeah, because they beat the Bulldogs last year, and Port Adelaide got them with your mate Kenny Hinkley flying the.
So would it be? So if we said Freo's year was a bit of a flatliner, no tick, no cross, just a flatliner, would it be the similar for Hawthorn second week of finals? Do we expect them to do better than that this year?
I think so. I think
if they lost this week, it'd be a bit of a.
Well, they won't cop the same criticism as Fremantle because Fremantle didn't win a final, but they haven't improved on what they did last year, and a lot of people had them either winning the premiership or playing off in the GF or in that space. So, yeah, should be, again, amazing contest. And you can't write off the Hawks forward line either when you got Ginnivan, Watts, and you got Marbia Chol, who's obviously, trying to cement his spot. Mitch Lewis comes back into the mix this week with an injury to Deer, I think it is.
Kelsha Deer.
Yeah,
his hamstring.
So, yeah, they've still got some weapons, Hawthorn. Yeah, it should be a beauty.
Mitch Lewis will come in and kick 4 goals in the VFL. Hawthorn conceded 64 points from clearance last week thanks to Aspect. It's worst this season against Adelaide with Jordan Dawson in it. I think that's a chance to make a difference, but I pick Hawthorn, you pick Adelaide. Let's see how we go Friday night. You'll be calling that on 6PR, Skeeter?
Yes, we're calling that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, 18th to the 19th of October, our friends at Shelter are hosting this 2-day festival on the Busselton and foreshore. It's Beer Hall. It's the beer festival by the beach. If you're going to be down south, you're going to be in the area, plenty of stuff going on down there. Skeeter gets excited by the pretzels, but there's fresh seafood. There's an Oktoberfest-inspired menu. You ever been to Oktoberfest?
In Germany?
Yes.
No, I don't think I have.
Where else is Oktoberfest?
No, this is
Oktoberfest-inspired.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I haven't been to Germany for I'm not actually a huge beer drinker, which might surprise you.
Yeah,
you know that.
But other than Shelters.
Yeah, of course. I love the Shelters.
There's axe throwing, there's keg rolling, there's stein holding.
Wife carrying.
Yes, you've used that gag quite a
I'll use another one next time, sorry.
So get the crew together and head to Busso this spring for Beer Hall. Grab your tickets at the Shelter website, shelterbrewing.com.au. Brisbane v Gold Coast. We've got a Q clash at the Gabba. This is the biggest game in Queensland that's ever happened. It's easily the biggest Q clash. There's the most on the line. There's the most interest. There'll be the most people watching. There'll probably be the most people at the game. This is massive for Queensland and AFL, and the AFL in general will be very happy this is happening.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And it's happening not on prelim final week because they want their money. They want their 90,000 at the G.
Yes. Yeah, it's worked out perfectly, and the Nepo babies has been described by Ross into a semi-final, which is good. I mean, they are the second team that most people are supporting if your team's not in it or you get knocked out. Lions got a really good record, though. They've won 13 of their past 15 against Gold Coast at the Gabba, going back to 2011. Wow. So it's a good record there. Some players that need to lift. Hugh McCluggage was kept to just 7 disposals in 59 minutes that he was being tagged last week. That was extraordinary. And I think what we saw from Brisbane last week with Lachie Neale going down, they've still got a very competitive side. I think though at the end of the day, they might well win on the weekend, but at the end of the day, I think the injury toll might get the better of them. I think that the numbers they've got out of that side and the importance that Eric Hipwood gone for the year, Lachie done. They've had so many players, and Oscar McInerney hasn't been able to get himself right. Yeah, I've just got, this is the window. This is the time for the Gold Coast who are in really good shape to challenge them. And can they back up and can they come off that emotional high and replicate something similar? The beauty is it's only a 1 hour drive up the road.
That's a big factor, given they've come off the back of the biggest trip in footy. Now, I'll give you some numbers thanks to Aspect Accountants. All right, they're polar opposites here. The Suns have lost their last 10 matches at the Gabba back to 2018. Right, so they haven't won in 7 years at the Gabba. They have a horrific record at the venue. GWS beat Brisbane at Brisbane in the semi-final and Collingwood at the G in the prelim to go to their first ever grand final in 2019. It's the same route that Gold Coast are going to have to take if they want to get there. These sides met only 6 weeks ago, Skeeter. The Gold Coast won by 66 points.
Yeah.
Matt Rowell dominated with 37 disposals, 23 contested possessions, 15 clearances and 12 tackles. We know Lachie Neale is out. When these sides met 6 weeks ago in that game, Skeeters, Gold Coast scored 84 points from clearance, their most ever on record. So both sides will be looking at that game. Brisbane, their biggest focus will be tidying up what they did at clearance. And they will tag the absolute you-know-what out of Matt Rowell and Noah Anderson. You can't let them run amok, especially with your best player out. You just can't.
Problem is, you've got, looking back at those sides, and I know it's a little while ago now, but you can look after them, but Tuke Miller wasn't in that side for the Gold Coast Suns going back.
He's lost his dominance he could have. It's Anderson and Rowell.
Oh, no.
You can't have them do what they did against Freo. You're not going to win.
Yeah. Well, who do they use? What does Dunkley do? Does he...
He goes Rowell.
Rowell. And then,
Bring someone else in to play a role. I don't care who it is. You can't tell me that you can't play a role in Noah Anderson. If all your focus is to stop Noah Anderson from having impact, you can do it. It's just whether you want to do it or not. He's not this physical, fast beast that no one can keep up with. He's just someone that's a smart player that is a really elite one-touch clearance player. If you put some attention on him, he's not going to have the impact that he had against Freo. And you need to do it if you want to win.
Yeah, well, that's my point. Those two players are going to be heavily scrutinised, and that's where I think Tuke Miller can actually get off the chain a bit and cause some damage. Yeah, they've got their tails up. They're playing some good footy. I think King was kept goalless in the final, which is not such a bad result if you're looking for different ways to kick a score, and they've done that. Their defence, led by Sam Collins, really good. And Brisbane, thing is, they're the reigning premiers for a reason, and their best, we said a week ago, their best is still the best in the competition. I reckon you would have had them in the grand final or close to it about 7 days ago.
They don't play 2 bad games in a row often, Brisbane. So this is what I'm saying about the two sides coming off a loss. We want to write them off, and I'm saying, one of these teams is going to win. The smart money and smart brains would say, well, no, both of these sides are going to win. Who's going to win? Who do you think?
I think Brisbane bounce. They find a way. As I said to you, my guarantee of the rest of the year is that Collingwood are certainly to make the grand final. In my humble opinion, I just think it's set up perfectly for them.
Yep.
But I think this weekend, my trust factor is a little higher in Brisbane, and I just think that some of those players like McCluggage, who was quiet. I think their better players will find a way this week. Not sure how long they can keep doing it, but this week they'll be able to find a way. But this is perfect for the Suns. They take a free swing. They've achieved winning a final away from home. Yeah, it's set up beautifully for them to play with a fair bit of freedom.
The emotional come down of winning your first final away from home, the way they did it, is a severe danger. I think how it's placed, they've probably got the better side in somehow, or maybe form. Brisbane's better. You're right. I'm going to pick Gold Coast, but I think Brisbane's better. And I think you're right about Collingwood as well. Both these sides, I don't think will beat Collingwood, and I don't think Hawthorn or Adelaide can beat Geelong.
I'll tell you what though, if Hawthorn get through, Hawks, Cats, prelim final, MCG, that'd be something pretty special.
Yeah, so let's go for Hawthorn, and I'll pick Gold Coast, but Brisbane probably will get this done. All right, Ski, let's get into the questions and comments. I was grumpy on Monday.
No, you weren't. You were just a bit agitated.
I was grumpy on Monday, and then I probably got a bit of feedback in the comments. I haven't read these yet, but if you do want to get involved, jump on YouTube, put a comment in the section below, or you can send us an email, hello@backchatpodcast.com.au, probably more likely hello@FootyCast.com.au, something like that. Can't remember. It is here. I probably should get it right. FootyCast@BackChatStudios.com.au. Send us an email. Wonder what Will thinks of Fife's comments about West Coast before the 18 grand final. Happy to go on a 2-minute rant about how a few people cheering Freo losing during dinner then say he doesn't care. Laugh my ass off. What? Then say he doesn't care. Wonder how I felt about Fife's comments. He plays for Fremantle. Of course he doesn't go for West Coast. What do you think I think about it? I don't know what I meant to say to that. He was the captain of Fremantle at the time. What do you want to say? He's going to go for West Coast. There's no comparison. That's classic. Anyway, thanks, Baz. If I'm Graham Wright, the first person I'm calling this off season is Skeet. Bloke is a genius from Eric on YouTube. You got a username you use on YouTube. You put those sort of comments through. What are you a genius about?
I have no idea.
Graham Wright.
No one's called me. Graham Wright runs Carlton.
So what sort of chess moves are you making?
Oh, well, it's stuff that you don't see. It's under the water type stuff. That,
Under the water?
No, it's below the surface. I have no idea what he's talking about. But if he thinks that I might be able
Are you making a play for what do you?
No, I don't know whether he wants me to run the media there or not. I don't know. Bossie's a good fellow. I look good at Princess Park at some of those Lygon Street lunches. Not sure, but thank you for the compliment because I've never been called a genius by even my family.
What cost Freo the game was the last 8 minutes of the second quarter. As Freo supporter, congrats to Gold Coast. The game was an absolute classic, and someone had to be the one that lost. Yeah, I would agree with that from Justin. I don't think enough blame for Amos' struggles is put on the game style. We play Amos while we play a slow contested marking style, which just isn't worthwhile having him in the team. He's playing his best footy during our quicker ball moving games. Watching him off ball, waiting for the slowest kicks into 50 to happen, he's making multiple leads to space to be ignored and have the ball bombed on top of his head. I agree with that. The delivery to Jai Amos is poor and it gets bombed on his head a lot, and that's just the opposite of his strength. His strength is leading, his hit up, his forward craft, and when the ball moves quickly, you've got more space to move. So I still do think, though, as a forward, even if it's not your strength, you can't be non-competitive when the ball gets kicked on your head. You know, I think about good forwards I play with, and the ball got kicked on their head, they could bring it to ground. Jai can't do that at the moment. That's when he really needs to work hard.
I wonder if he's a bit disgruntled with the role he's playing and given Tracy and Voss and how they're being given, I guess, maybe a bit bigger licence to play the way they do, whether he's either frustrated with himself or frustrated with the style that Justin Longmuir has asked him to play.
I hope not. You know, Neil Erasmus just signed on, committed, and you've got young players, you know, this group that's improving and going. I think the height, it's on the up. They've just got to get their way through it a bit, Skate, I think.
I agree.
Skate, that's it.
Just to let you know that Eddie Maguire, one of the big power brokers in town at the moment, meeting, I believe, with the state government over the past day or so, talking right? State of origin. So I think there's, obviously, Ed's got an AFL hat he can wear a broadcasting hat. So I think that's starting to take shape. The state government's playing a role in all that. So just a little bit of info just circulating here in Cos Cardone.
Breaking.
Well, it's not breaking news. It's just
Cos Cardone.
Cos Cardone used to be in charge of the footy show. He was in charge of footy at 9 when I was at 9, and he was a great operator, and now he's at Jam TV, which quite a big operation that do agenda setters, etc., and run a lot of the footy shows out of Melbourne.
Very good, mates. Have a great weekend of footy. Calling any waffle?
Calling Sunday's waffle. Claremont East Perth should be a beauty. Let's hope, either team who gets through can cause the Bulldogs at least a couple of concerns. Yeah. Two massive semi-finals, and the last piece of advice I'll give to you, when you receive your cash in an envelope today, make sure when you go to take off your jeans, don't throw the envelope out, which I've done in the bin, which doesn't go well. So make sure you protect the cash, and maybe if there's a figure written on the front of the envelope, just get some white out and change the number so Alex doesn't know exactly how many dollars you got.
Have you done that before?
No, but I've thought about it.
I will say AFLW Derby coming up. West Coast Freo. Spoke to a couple of girls last night. The rivalry is
real,
way stronger and properly real with the girls. Like, they don't like each other. West Coast has never beaten Fremantle.
Yes,
and they're out of the two, they're the informed side this year. So that's Sunday. I think I'll be calling that with Fox Footy.
It goes head to head, unfortunately, with the waffle. So, but I reckon they get good crowds down there at the Derby, as you'd expect. Bit of weather around, so yeah. Dockers are in a bit of a hole in the women's side of it. West Coast are flying really comparatively as what they have in previous years under Daisy, and as I said, I'm looking forward to seeing the Tigers and the Royals, a rematch of the qualifying final.
Good on, Skate.